Hello, all benders and non-benders, and welcome back to Avatar Generations. Today we have a very large update, probably the biggest one since the global launch of the game, and that is the inclusion of Omashu and Bumi as a playable character and a whole lot more. So a few things. First of all, the socket cheese is dead. They fixed it. We knew it was going to happen. It was fun while it lasted. So, sadly, no more cheesing Stage 5 Zuko. Eh, we had a good time while we could. Speaking of boss fights, we do have a fourth boss fight now. That being King Boomy and Flopsy. There are two enemy units in this boss fight. I do want to talk more in depth about the boss fight in the future to try and give some guides, but frankly, I'm still trying to figure it out myself. Um, but just to give you an idea of what to prepare for, this one requires special element heroes and earthbenders. So if you got the free Kyoshi warrior or even Suki early on, that already puts you in pretty decent shape. And then you need to train up some good earthbenders to hopefully conquer this beast. And I've gone through stage 3, I tried stage 4, and I got the crap kicked out of me pretty good. So it is no pushover at all. To go over some quality of life improvements, it's for some reason showing me I've unlocked everything. That's cool. We can actually do up to 12 teams now. I'm not sure if you can quite see it with my webcam in the way here, but you can actually do up to 12 teams going around the world here as opposed to the previous 10. Just makes it a whole lot easier to be farming those time nodes, get your characters walking around, all that good stuff. That's kind of the most important window dressing there. One more thing that we are going to briefly touch on is that Arena is coming. It's currently in kind of a closed beta status to some regions, but it is on the way, where they're giving out the ticket items. So they've even said it's coming. So I would expect that certainly in the next couple weeks, probably no later than that. But now we can get into the fun stuff. The fun stuff being new stuff we can do. First of all, Omashu is now in the game. You can unlock it right now if you have, I believe, 3,600 adventure points. Click on it here. Yeah, I am almost there, so I'll be doing that very soon. I'm looking very forward to that. So, yeah, some new stuff, new areas to explore. And keep in mind, you're probably going to want to make this a priority to unlock, because once you do get through the story, keep in mind, every day you'll be able to walk those new adventure paths, get even more loot. So as new areas are unlocked, we can keep walking them every day. You'll get more and more adventure points. So that is certainly awesome. But of course, to celebrate, they have given us a ton of brand new event challenges to enjoy. First one I want to look at here is this Path to Omashu. This is a long one. This one lasts about like a month and a half and is very similar to the global launch event challenges in that they give an abundance of summon tickets, peace chaos tickets once you get further down, and then if you do make it all the way to the end here, you do get the skill token, which is arguably the most valuable one on here. All you have to do is just complete other missions. And what other missions do we have? Well, I'm glad you asked. We have the return of the energy endurance missions. Very simple, very easy. All you do is spend energy. No problem, super easy. You get nature stones, you get some skip tickets, and you get even more energy. So it kind of boosts itself, which is pretty convenient. And then we have King of Omashu, basically some quests celebrating the release of Bumi, very much in the same vein as when Suki was released. You'll get a ton of rewards here, most of which are based around using Earthbender characters. So you'll notice you'll get nature stones for completing training grounds. You can complete activities with Earth element heroes in order to get some very valuable Ascension materials. Some things here are very easy, just like using skip tickets. You should, as you even see, it's only been out for a day or two, and I've already got a vast chunk of these already completed. Going down here, you do actually get a very nice pile of tickets using Earth element, Earthbenders to walk around on the adventure paths. Now, a few things to keep in mind here. First of all, this counts per Earth hero. So let's say you make a team with 3 Earth element heroes, that counts as 3 for every path you walk. So that's first thing to keep in mind. Second thing to keep in mind, if you do the strategy where you just go from one end of a road all the way to another, you are collecting all those rewards, but for the time being at least, that still only counts as 1. You want to know my recommendation? Get a full team of as many Earthbenders as you can, sit them between 2 spaces, and just have them go back and forth constantly. Even if it's not the first time you've walked that path in the day, it still counts towards this. You'll see I've completely maxed this out. All you have to do, and it's even like 5-minute intervals, just have them go walk back and forth, back and forth. It's super easy, very quick, and just like that, you can get yourself some free summon tickets. You've also got some gold, always good, some relic materials, always good, some Ascension materials. I imagine this is probably what's going to be used to upgrade Bumi himself. And then by actually doing some summoning, you can get some of the Earth Crystals for using them in the Bumi boss fight. The one thing, though, that we haven't gone over is the new event currency. So, of course, you'll be asking yourself, what do we have in the shop today? Well, we've got some good stuff in the shop today. First of all, you might already see here, summon tickets. Never a bad thing. For only 2 of these currency items, you get 6 summon tickets. You get 3 the first time, 3 the second time. You cannot go wrong there. And then we have 2 new 4-star items, a 4-star unit, and a 4-star relic. We have the Omashu soldier, who is very cool here. Looks like he's going to be kind of a defensive one. Looks like he's got like knockbacks. We'll definitely go over him in the near future. So that's pretty cool. And then we have the cabbage cart here, which seems to have a very interesting defensive effect to the point that it only happens once a battle. But it looks like if you are inflicted with a negative state, so like if you get stunned, if you get knocked down, it removes that state as well as any debuffs you suffer and heals you for a chunk. I imagine when it's fully upgraded, my guess would be it's 25% healing at full upgrade, but hard to say until we actually get into it. This will be used by Earth Kingdom characters and could actually be pretty cool. And honestly, who doesn't love the cabbage meme? I mean, it's one of the best recurring jokes of the entire show, and that's in a long list of excellent recurring jokes. So the last thing we want to take a look at here is, of course, the new summon banner and if you should summon on him. Here we have Trial Boss Bumi. Now the first thing I want to bring up to mind here is this one has a pity of 150. 150 summons, you get Bumi. This is down actually from the 200 of Suki. Not down from this one's still 200, but this one was 150. It makes me wonder if going forward they're just going to make the events 150. Maybe they felt like 200 was a little extreme. Hard to say. The Peace Chaos banners, I don't think they're going to get such love because those are kind of special. But for the King of Omashu banner, it's 150. If we take a look at what we've got here, nice thing is, this a 3% 5-star rate, but it's only the new stuff. So keep that in mind. You're only going to get new stuff from here. If you're trying to diversify, then this isn't the banner for you. If you're trying to like score a bunch of things at once, you might need either the Festival of Peace banner if you do have the materials, or Tales of the Four Nations if you're trying to go more for a generalist route. Not personally what I would recommend, but of course it is up to your playstyle and what you prefer. But looking at the man of the hour here, we have Bumi in the game. He is a Bending Master, Royalty, and a White Lotus character. Very important to keep in mind, as this does determine what relics and supports you can equip on him. I am already side-eyeing that Yang Chen relic that I have, because that one would do well on him, and you'll see why in a second here. Bumi focuses completely on HP scaling. All of his attacks scale in HP. If we take a look at this, first of all, he has positive Jin. Deals earthbending damage, which inflicts the earth element debuff on the enemy for 2 turns. Really good debuff. We'll be getting into that very soon when I do a combat guide as far as the different debuffs and what they do. But for now, all you need to know is that it inflicts the earth element debuff on the enemy. And then if they already have the earth element debuff, it will increase the rank of that debuff. Basically gives it a silver border or a gold border, depending on what rank it already is. Makes the effects more potent, and even adds a couple things depending on the element. Looking at his advanced skill here, this is an AoE, targets all enemies. Again, deals earthbending damage, and a 35% chance, which I imagine would go up on skill levels if you were lucky enough to get duplicates, or if you want to spend your coins on him. 35% chance in balanced state. What this does is, first of all, it really tanks the enemy's speed and attack, decreases both of which by 25%, which they are not going to appreciate, with a 50% chance to become knocked down at the start of the caster's turn. Now, when it says caster, I believe it's referring to the opponent that this is on, because keep in mind, if we're looking at this, we need to look at it from the perspective of the unit that it is currently affecting. So I believe that would affect, that means that if the enemy starts a turn, they've got a chance that they're just going to fall on their butt and do nothing. Looking at this here, we have neutral Jin. Steal 25% turn bar from a random enemy and gain access to new skills for 2 turns when the caster inflicts a negative state or is in a negative state at the end of their turn. So what this means, for example, this one is the imbalanced state. You have a 35% chance on each enemy, which means if you're hitting 4 enemies, you're probably going to get at least 1. When you inflict 1, or if the enemy is in a negative state, or excuse me, I think this one is actually Bumi. If he's in a negative state by some chance, he gets turn bar. 25% turn bar on its own is already huge. And then actually gets 2 skills for a couple turns here. If we go to these 2 new skills, we have Mad Genius, deals 3 hits of bending damage to 1 enemy and gains accuracy. Just a reminder that accuracy affects the chance of inflicting debuffs. He gets that for 1 turn, increases the chance of inflicting earth element debuffs, which, as you saw from his previous moves, very good. And then we have knockback damage, another ability that can decrease the enemy's turn bar by 25%. This has a 50% chance of happening, and it hits all enemies. And while it's at it, gives him increased attack. Now, it says damage dealt increases based on the caster's max HP. It makes me wonder if these abilities scale on both attack and HP. I believe that is the case, because unlike characters like the offensive Kyoshi Warrior, where like swift damage specifically says speed, I believe that Bumi uses both attack and HP to crank up his abilities. Me personally, I'm thinking HP is probably going to be the way to go, but that's something important to keep in mind here, that I believe he scales on both. So that is what he's got here. If we look at the support and the relic, we've got the Goat Gorilla, aka Flopsy. Everybody loves Flopsy. Increases crit damage of Earth Element heroes by 25%. Never a bad thing, just straight up more damage. And then this ring is very interesting, the Genomite Ring. Decreases the turn bar of all enemies by 15% when the caster inflicts or the enemy is in a negative state when they attack. This verbiage is a little strange. I think we're having a bit of a run-on sentence situation here. The way I read this is if the caster, meaning, let's say, for example, Bumi, inflicts that imbalanced state on the enemy, or if the enemy is in an imbalanced state when the caster attacks. So if the enemy is already stunned or knocked down and the caster attacks, or the caster inflicts something on them, this decreases all of the enemy's turn bar by a chunk, with it being a one-turn cooldown, which is kinda cool if we're being honest, because combine that with all of Bumi's other effects, he can tank people's turn bar. It's kind of insane, actually. Again, though, I am going to reiterate what I usually say. Don't summon specifically for the support or the relic. It is certainly good. These are great supports and relics, and if you happen to get one on the way to Bumi, great, you've done well. But don't summon specifically for this because it is a slippery slope. Just go based on Bumi, and looking at Bumi, I think he is fantastic. He looks like he does some crazy stuff. Cool thing about scaling with HP is that not only are you getting power, you're getting bulk. While you're cranking up the damage you do with these moves that scale up at least partially on HP, you're also just getting HP. You just get stronger. So yeah, I think that especially considering he is an earthbender, which we do now have two bosses being Avatar Aang, or Avatar State Aang, and now Bumi himself, that's going to make earthbenders a little more premium, and they're not easy to get. There's only two 5-star earthbenders at the moment, and neither of them have run in banners specifically for them, so odds are you're probably not going to have a 5-star, or maybe you have one. Toph did actually run in this one, but again, this, as I saw from experience, the rates of getting a character on this one were pretty rough. So, keeping that in mind, I personally think this guy is a great option. Nice thing is, event tickets, these little colorful ones, are much easier to get, and they are giving a fair number of them for free. So I would definitely keep that in mind. Of course, it is up to you. Keep in mind whatever your account situation is, what you feel like you need. Keep that in mind, what resources you have, what you're saving for, and just kind of go from there and make sure you're having fun while doing it. I personally will be summoning on Bumi. I think he looks really cool, and I absolutely want to try him out. So that is about all I have to discuss here. Lots of new stuff, new characters, new missions, lots of rewards to go along with it, and a whole lot more fun to be had. So that's about all we have here. Hope you all have enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, would appreciate a like, would appreciate a subscribe. Really helps a lot and shows me what kind of content you all would like. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Have a good one.